And I'm back. Listen, went for a month, and I just want to have a little chat with you guys. Not the usual video. It's going to be a little bit of a chat, a little bit of just a conversation. It's going to be a little more positive about New World. It's a bit of a journey that we're going to go on, so let's just get started. So a month ago, I was really pissed off with the devs and this whole kind of like no update till June nonsense. And like, yeah, I understand that they're doing it because they're recoding the game to C++, which is a good step. But it's just like, come on, no content till June. That was ridiculous. It really just, and with combined with all the other stuff they'd been doing, I just reached a threshold. SOD was sort of taking off in WoW, so it seemed like a good place to go. So I just decided, yeah, I'm going to go play WoW. And I did play WoW mostly for the last month, but it just, it's slow, got a little boring after a while, and I was sort of missing New World quite a bit by the end. It's just a drought of a gaming sort of right now, like there's no obvious picks. Throne and Liberty just seems to MMO and fairies. I tried Black Desert Online, but it's just too much of a grind. And remember, I'm playing from New Zealand/Australia, so we've got to take into account some of these games will have 200 ping as well. So BDO, 200 ping, massive grind. PvP doesn't look that good. Was quite keen about ESO, that's the game we used to play, but again, the 200 ping is just ridiculous. Like, yeah, and when we got back into it, we played it for like an hour, and then it was like, not the game to play. Even tried GW2, and actually GW2, Guild Wars 2, and that was actually really good, and I was actually quite hyped to play it, but then when we went and saw the player population at our time, like the Australian/New Zealand time, there was like no one on, and also the 200 ping, so yeah, so we were close to playing GW2. And then the other games, like, I hate FPS games, so that's just rules out all that shit. Mainly because I can't aim, but also just because I like MMOs. And I don't really like MOBAs either. I don't like that top-down clickety-click-click-click shit. So, in the end, all roads led back to New World. Within a month, we logged back in, and yeah, it feels really good to be back. So I'm definitely back. So, like, even in its current state, even with the devs messing us around all the time, even with all the bugs in the game, the fact of the matter is New World still has the most fun combat and the best graphics. The thing is, like, when you're playing WoW, like, it's hard to 1vx people, and it's hard to sort of, because it's like, it's tab targets, so they just tab you and then they press a button and they'll hit you. There's no, like with New World, there's like counterplay with dodging and blocking. So there's always ways for you to survive against multiple opponents. I mean, it's hard, but you can do it. So, and it's just these beautiful graphics. It feels really fluid. Like, everyone loves New World because they know that the combat is just epic, right? So, I think that's why we ultimately came back to New World. Now, the thing that WoW Season of Discovery got right, though, was that it keeps dangling that carrot in front of you. So people will go do raids for like, a month or two to get their gear set, their full gear set. And there was always something to do in SOD to like improve your gear. And when you got that piece of gear, you noticed the improvement, like you felt it. So it was rewarding. So even though you might have spent, 2 or 3 weeks doing, well, actually it could have been like 2 months doing the raid every week to get like that gear, when you got it, it was like, it felt like an accomplishment, and you felt it, you felt the difference. And so that was like that beautiful little carrot, got people coming back, got people wanting to play because there was that grind. And I think WoW got like the right balance. It's not like with Black Desert Online where you need to grind for like 100 years just to get like a 1% increase in damage. So it's not like crazy like some of these Asian MMOs can be. I felt like with WoW it was like a right balance between you needed to grind quite a bit to get, but you got good gear out of it. But you could reach this after a while, So I felt like, it's not like in New World where like you can get the best in slot gear within like 2 weeks. And then it's like, well, what do you do now? I just, as a PvPer, once I've got the best gear, I'll just go and do, what am I going to do? Just OPR over and over and over again, and that's when you get bored, you know, or you do arenas over and over again. That's where you get bored, because it's just like you feel like you're on this treadmill, there's nothing to do. There's no carrot in front of you, there's no incentive to keep playing. So I think that's what New World's problem is that everyone just gets the best gear so quickly, and then they get bored because there's nothing to do, and then they just complain that there's no content. So I feel like a part of this is because of that combat system, that amazing combat system that New World has, it attracts a lot of like non-MMO players. So it attracts a lot of people that are interested in FPS games because they can play musket or bow, and it attracts a lot of MOBA gamers. It's just, it pulls in a big non-MMO crowd, right? And these guys are used to, like if you've played FPS games or MOBA games, you're used to instanced PvP or instance PvE, where you can just jump right in, you don't need to worry about gear, you play the game's ends, and then you leave. You know, it's like you go in, you play 20 minutes, you instantly jump in with a group of people, and then you're done, and then you leave, and there's no progression of your character. That's it. So that's kind of the mindsets, like the new generation of gamers coming through. That's what they want. They don't have to grind for new gear with every new expansion or the update, or when an update is released. You know, there's no grinding. It's just an expansion comes out, they play the new content. That's it. But that isn't an MMO. Like, New World is an MMO. And when you play an MMO, I think, like, that, you know, leveling up and questing, grinding for gear, that kind of, like, working towards a goal and trying to reach that goal, that's a part of playing an MMO. Like, that's the beauty of playing an MMO. And I think that's what people who play MMOs enjoy. And that's why when people played MMOs, when expansions released, they don't mind paying for it. And they get excited because it's like, cool, new gear to get, new theory crafting for builds, all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, that's going to be really fun. But the people that aren't MMO players are like, fuck, I have to play for a new expansion, that sucks. You know? And I just think that New World needs to pick a side, because I think they're just kind of like trying to ride that kind of fine line between the both of them. My personal opinion is I think New World just needs to be a bit tough and say, you know what? We're an MMO, and if you don't like questing, and you don't like grinding for gear, then maybe this just isn't the game for you. I mean, there's games, there's MOBAs out there, there's first-person shooters out there with instant stuff. Go play them. This is an MMO. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just try to please both sides, because you're just going to piss everyone off. So that's my opinion, okay? So ultimately, what I think will keep people playing, and this was actually mentioned in Christopher's latest video, which I'll put a link in the description, is that we need a carrot dangled in front of you for something for people to strive for. And what Christopher mentioned in his video was like, which really caught my attention, and actually when he said it, that's what made me come back to the game, was that's why he does an Iron Man. So what an Iron Man is you can't trade with other players, or you can't trade on the trade house. So it means you have to grind for your gear by doing dungeons, by doing PvP, by collecting mats and making your gear through crafting, or by finding the gear. You have to make your own potions, etc. That's what an Iron Man is. So you're never going to have best gear, but what it does mean is you're always working towards something, you know? Like, and it's just that whole MMO kind of strategy is, it's like, because you're doing an Iron Man, you're always working towards, oh man, I'm going to try to get that chest piece by getting my crafting up and then making it, or I'm going to get that chest piece by doing this dungeon over and over until I get it, because you can't just go and make it, you know? So it's like, you might be working towards getting a good chest piece for a while, but then when you do, you notice the difference, you feel the difference, because it's probably a major upgrade. And I think that by doing an Iron Man, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Unless you do it, you won't understand. But once you start doing an Iron Man, New World takes on a whole new meaning. It's like completely refreshing. New World was made as a survival game originally, from what I understand. And you can tell, like, if you look around the graphics when you're collecting, look at those beautiful, like the beautiful world that you're in, all the graphics, it's a beautiful world to go and explore. You can chop down any tree, you can pick up any bush, you can take mushrooms, whatever. There's iron everywhere. Like it's just like this beautiful game. Like originally it was supposed to be a survival game that turned into other stuff, but that survival element is still there. So it's perfect for an Iron Man. And it's just like when you do the Iron Man, the game just takes on a whole new meaning. It just feels so refreshing. And it's just like, you know what Chris was saying? It's just like that carrot dangling in front of you. So that's what I've been doing. So at the moment, I'm leveling a new Iron Man, and you can watch me level them. I've been leveling it on Twitch. Honestly, it's been pretty fast. I think I started on Friday, and I'm already almost level 50. Sir Camelot, Master of Arms, that's the guy that I'm leveling right now, so I'm going to be focusing on melee weapons. I'm obviously going to be getting back into PvP, doing that kind of assassin-y, light armor, melee, assassin-style melee weapons. But, you know, I'm really enjoying being back. So, you know, to kind of sum things up, like, we might be in a dark spot right now. I mean, we definitely are. The numbers are down. And, you know, I think some people might think you need to, like, the numbers are down. There's lots of bugs in the game, all that kind of stuff. But you'd have to be, and there's a lot of negativity out there from people saying, oh, the game's dead and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, goddamn, the numbers are low. Let's not lie. And there's no content coming out till June. However, as obvious as it is to say the game's in a really shit place right now and there's not many people playing it, I think it's equally obvious that when they release this game on controller, like to console, to Xbox and PlayStation, like, that is going to be a massive, massive influx of players. Like, huge. It's like, you'd have to be crazy to not think that a whole bunch of console players that have never played this game before aren't going to come and try this game out. It's going to be huge. And if they've gone and done all the background work, which I think they've already done, if they've recoded it to C++, which is a big move to do, because I know ESO had some terrible code in their game, and they just tried to dance around that problem, and all it did was compound the problem with every expansion, every update. Just got worse and worse and worse. So it's actually quite a good thing that they've pulled back, and I think they've just said, okay, look, we're going to lose a bunch of people. We know we're going to lose a bunch of people. Let's get the game right. Let's get the leveling, questing right. Let's get everything working. I know a bit of tongue-in-cheek saying that, but like they've recoded C++ is what I mean. They should be able to release updates really quickly now, so they're setting themselves up for future success, which is what I think they're doing. And when they release it on console, you're going to get heaps of players coming back, and hopefully then they're just going to pump out the content. And then hopefully New World can become the game it was meant to be. I honestly do think, though, that, yeah, when it's released on console, we're going to see a massive influx of players. So, listen, I'm back, and I'll be here, out in the New world, collecting those mats in the middle of nowhere, with the worst gear possible, and enjoying every goddamn second of it. I'll see you out there.